Okay, when you want to set your size of material, you set this for, that would be 20 inches. And then down here is your counter for how many pieces you want to cut. You just push the red button in and then you can count how many pieces and it'll automatically count however many pieces. That'd be 30 pieces. We'll set this smaller so we don't waste a bunch of metal. For 10 inches, then you just hit the table to advance it. This side does the shear, and this does the coils. You have to advance the coils manually to give slack to the metal. And then when you want to cut your piece, you just hit it, and it automatically corrects for itself. So the actually the next piece will be right on. So if you hit it again, and it's just every piece, you keep hitting the button for every piece you want to cut. It's not an automatic machine.
I guess a person could get somebody to put a control or something to modify that to run continuously, though.
Yeah, I would think you could. Yeah, advance it continuously. You can change it so that it has a micro switch that's not hooked up now, but you can hook up a micro switch to the coil to sense tension, and it'll automatically advance it. But it has, these here are the rolls that grip the metal. This roll takes the curl out of the metal, and this roll will put beads on, put 4 beads across the metal for ductwork. I'm not sure what you would be using it for, but and those you set here. It's kind of a feel. You can get a system down, but it's be too hard to explain to you. It's just something that you do on your own, but you just advance them up and down with this handle. You wind it down until the metal's flat.
And this is the measuring wheel, this guy here. This guy here measures the distance to pay off the material and sends it back to the controller.
It has one motor that you loosen the tension and change the belt to switch to each coil. It rolls down a track on the back. We'll show you in a bit. It'll hold 4 coils. We found the 10,000-pound coils work, give or take 500 pounds. We just load them, we used to load them with a forklift and slings.
You want to explain these 3 racks here?
This machine's actually not in the right order. These 2 spools should be in front, and all the metal is preloaded up to the front, and that's what these racks are. And you just that's what these racks are. You just vice grip the metal on. This would be up at the front of the machine, and as you change the motor to each coil, you would just run right from the front. So that way you don't have to run it all the way from the back.
Explain. Can you go and push that red button? Thank you. Maybe explain about how to take the coils off and how to load a coil of metal.
You take the coil off, or you take the spool off onto the ground, and you would have your new coil of metal sitting on a wooden block. I don't believe we have the wooden block. It just has to be supported off the ground. You undo this coupler, slide it off. This one slides off. It moves. It's heavy, but it moves. You slide it off. Then with 2 or 3 people, you load this thing and the shaft into the end of the coil. Then you slide this one onto the end, and you put the retainer back on. We sling the coils with 2 slings and the forklift over top. You drive in and lower it down.
And how long does it take to do normally?
If you're good, about a half hour probably. You can get it down pretty quick.
Explain the little holes here on the side.
We just drilled these holes in the side so that, because when the coil's mounted on here, you can't really, when it gets down to the end, you can't tell how much you have, and when it gets down to the last, you know that it's time to order another coil. very low maintenance machine. It's a simple machine, not a complicated machine.
Just going to walk around the back side here and over to the drive side. Mike will explain that a little better here.
The motor runs on these tracks. You loosen off the tension, take the belt off, roll it to the next coil, insert a pin, put the belt on, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little handle just that moves the motor ahead or back to tighten it. And then that's what runs the coil. Very simple system. It's not joined together properly right now because this is in pieces for shipping purposes. Everything works. It's nothing fancy. Gets the job done. Shear works good. I believe the blades, they don't need to be flipped, but you can flip them. I believe it's a 4-way blade, and the blade's in really good condition.
Can we just run and I'll run it from the side here when you're...
Sure.
We're just going to, Mike's just going to run the line here, so I'll take a view from the back side of the coils, how that's paying off and everything.
It's forwards and backwards, so you can, if you get too much slack, you can back it up. It's all manual.